Okay. Ken Mode, NULL album review. Let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning. Here tonight to chat about this latest from Ken Mode, Winnipeg. Great in the genres of noise, rock, and post-hardcore. There have been few more consistent acts since the early 2000s. I mean, I've always looked at their debut, Mongrel, as sort of an underlooked gem in the genre, but it wasn't until their follow-up album, Reprisal, that I thought the band really started crafting their sound. This was a sludgy, pensive, pummeling post-hardcore record that just kept hitting harder and harder until it finished, and it's great. I mean, if I've had to pick a moment in their discography where I haven't been that crazy about what they were doing, I would probably go with 2008's Mennonite. That's just me. It's not my favorite work from theirs, but ever since, the band has been on such a creative roll and just have been so consistent in a way that most post-hardcore and noise rock acts haven't. By the time 2011's Vulnerable came out, they were on cruise control in the best way. They were sounding heavy at every instant. They were crafting these big, meaty hooks, and the guttural vocals that came along with it were just annihilating. This was some of the most unbearably dense and harrowing post-hardcore out there. I've always looked at Entrench as one of their most dangerous releases. I've enjoyed the Steve Albini produced success since it came out, and their last album, Loved, was one of my favorite albums of the year. I love just how rowdy and wild it came off. It sounded like a post-hardcore induced frat party, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. Now they are back with their latest album, NULL, and with each passing single, I have just sat to myself and said, holy Jesus, this is heavy. I can't wait to hear the whole thing. And now I've heard the whole thing, and yeah, it's heavy. This album starts off with a very quaint and pleasant, a love letter. Far from it. Yeah, this is hell on earth already, as Ken Mode put out some of the most revolting, crushing, disgusting, and noisy rock I've heard all year. Between the pummeling, chugging riff and the freakish, devilish woodwinds and horns behind them, I don't even know what I'm listening to. They are picking up right where they left off, though, which makes me a very happy boy. It's a twisted, brutal start that reminds you who the hell they are right off the bat. And I love some of the little details that we get here as well, like the patient cymbal tapping, the riff switch up that we get here that's pulled off flawlessly. And this is by no means an easy to sit through intro. It is over 6 minutes, but man, does it ever set the stage for this album. Ken Mode continue to use you as a punching bag with Throw Your Phone in the River. This is a little bit more business as usual from Ken Mode. It is much more upbeat and rowdy right off the start. It is raw, it is animalistic, it is pummeling, it is just right from the get-go crushing. It reminds you a lot of what they were doing on Success. But it is once again the little details here that set Ken Mode apart, like the ridiculous drumming that we get here, and the wailing guitars in the background. I really love the tie as well. This is easily one of the noisiest tracks here. That's saying something. We get harsh production and blood-curdling screams, and I love the depth to this track. I mean, it just sounds like Ken Mode is performing this, I don't know, from some prison somewhere or like some underground bunker, maybe a gritty basement. But yeah, it is so dismal. There is zero hope in sight. But it is exactly where I like to hear my Ken Mode. I also really love But You Respect Me for My Tactics. This was the first track that I heard here. It was the first track that I fell in love with here, and dare I say, it is the best track here. Ken Mode just roll in like they own the freaking joint and just start throwing punches. Big bracy breakdowns, harrowed vocals, my god, crushing riffs. I mean, we're home. The suffocating production as well. Jesus, this is just the off-the-rails post-hardcore that I just can't help but eat up. Yeah, this album is freaking rock solid. I cannot complain too much. I mean, the desperate search for the enemy. I mean, if I had to choose one track on here that I wasn't completely enamored with, this would be it. This to me just seems a little out of place and more kind of scary, kind of rushed. It's disheartening, and yeah, is there anything wrong with it? No, I guess not. But this sounds like Ken Mode on cruise control in the worst way. Outside of that, though, this is easily the best heavy rock album that I've heard this year of any genre. We get Not My Fault. This one is a little bit more on the slow-paced side. Very classic throwback post-hardcore. It's very sludgy as well, but I love hearing Ken Mode in all of these aspects. The performances across this whole track are so guttural, and the moments of silence that we get here are done so effectively. So much so that when these big riffs come chugging back in for this track's chaotic finale, it's borderline euphoric. And then we get Lost Grip. This is not going to be for everyone. This is a dreary, deafening, absolutely exhaustive 10-minute long slow burner. The tension is up the charts. Oh God, everything is just so calculating. It is probably one of the most depressive things I've heard all year, but it's also undoubtedly incredibly effective. The sense of finality on this track alone, my God. I don't want to give anything else away. Give it a shot, you know, if you're brave enough. And Unresponsive really does not let up as a finale either. I mean, initially hearing this drop before the album came out, my initial response was, what the hell is this? I mean, at the time, I just needed to hear the album in the full picture, and now I have, and I honestly can't think of a better way to end this album. It's dark, it's dismal, it's soul-crushing, and once again, probably some of the most depressive anything I've heard all year. Ken fucking Mode, man. Jesus, I mean, I've sung their praises for quite some time, and especially just how consistent they are and how they continue to keep growing with each release, seemingly, and here we are, and this is easily one of the best heavy albums I've heard all year. If you're listening to modern post-hardcore or noise rock, this is something that you need to hear ASAP because it's freaking brutal, man, and it's not going to be for everyone. This is a tough album to get to, and honestly, yeah, if you hate it, I get it, but this is one of the most crushing and intense things I've heard all year, and it's really thrilling, and I love that. I'm feeling a light 9 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.